I mean, this has to be the longest episode of Impractical Jokers I've ever watched. Like, I don't understand how this is a real season. I feel like this season was the experiment. But we're going to be doing three things today. First thing, I'm going to talk about the remaining couples, Izzy and Stacey. And then we have Milton, Bradley, and Lydia. And then I'll be talking about the editing quirks I saw. And then we're going to be talking about also about social media's reaction and why the FBI needs to retire, because when Facebook investigates, they investigate. Okay, so first, couples first. Izzy and Stacey. Honestly, like, my issue is the fact that the reason why breakups happen because you're incompatible, but because you're so attracted to the person, you ignore it. Just like I'm ignoring that rice boiling over. Like, you just ignore it even though you know you're not compatible. So first things first, private plane. So Ismael, that's his name, Zapata, made it clear that, she wouldn't have to want for anything. But the thing about it is the fact that she wants for everything. And my issue was that he took her on like a plane tour. He's like, hey, I know Stacey's used to like private planes or whatever. Let me take on this plane tour. I was like, that's not the same. Like, if you have a girl that wants a private plane experience, it's basically that she wants to be catered to, has the champagne life. Like, your airplane tour is not equivalent to that. Once again, you guys are not compatible financially, and yet you guys are trying to force it to work. And then one thing I didn't like was that with social media, I'll go into that later, is that when Izzy was drunk, clearly he was slurring his words. There was a point in there where he was said, family, like, he was never enough for her family. And I mean, honestly, when you're, most honest people are drunk people and babies. So, I can definitely say, like, if you feel that way intrinsically, you're going to think like that for the duration of your relationship. It's not going to change. Like, she's not going to want less. Like, literally her quote says, oh, I'm not picky. I just know what I deserve. I was like, mama, you picky. I also have a family review. So I noticed that, both of their families raised them differently. Like, basically, Stacey was raised to basically be independent, but also still dependent on her father. And then Ismael was raised, his name is Ismael now. Izzy, he was raised pretty much to be that, no offense, but he was raised to be that almost pseudo husband to his mom, to where, like, emotionally he's dependent. And I feel like that's why he attracted Stacey as well. And then as well as the fact that, like, with him not saying that he was in debt or credit card issues, she wants $20,000 for her HVAC install. And I feel like with him not telling her all the way minute, I feel like you're kind of like tying somebody's hands. It's kind of like if someone asks you a favor in front of everybody and they expect you to kind of just be like, oh, well, I know they're going to say yes because they don't want to look bad. So I feel like he kind of tied her hands that way. That way, with YSL, you're so lacking. Like, with Stacey, I do agree with her in that aspect, that he should have told her in advance, because, like I said, like, financially you guys aren't a match, but you're trying to make it work, hopefully for love and not for the clout. But overall, I rule against it. If someone's like, does anybody stand up and go against this? Yes, I do. I know it's in Texas. I will fly out to Texas to say, no, I do not support this. It's not going to work long term, because you're just going to want more. Like, I don't know about y'all, but my expenses compared to when I was younger compared to now are completely astronomical. But back in the day, all you had to do was give me a peanut butter sandwich and go about my business. Now I require more. And in that way, like, as she gets older, okay, let's say her and Izzy do have kids, like, now once you have the kids, that's more expenses. And if I picture Stacey how I think Stacey's personality is, she's one of those people that she wants to show people. I mean, I counted like 3 name brands just from watching her closet and just sitting her, watching her in her kitchen. I already, like, she's gonna want little Gucci slippers for her baby, and Izzy is not gonna be able to keep up with that. I don't know why he's trying. So we're going on to the next couple, Milton, Bradley, Games, and Lydia. First things first. Milton's so cute. Like, he's so stinking cute. Like, he's just adorable. Like, Milton needs to be protected at all costs. I don't know who we got to get, like what armed security we have to get for him, but Milton needs to be protected at all costs. There was a lot of pushback for his family, and they kind of viewed Milton's family more as cold and Lydia's family more as warmer. And I don't like that, because the fact that these are viable questions that you should ask someone when they're coming with your 24-year-old son. Like, for example, this is a very reasonable question. So Milton wants to go for his PhD. Is she okay with that? And of course, she has her generic Miss America. Thank you for that question. Yes, I will support Milton in his PhD. I was like, Mama, let me tell you something about real life. As someone who's 33 and grown, I can tell you 32. Ooh, I give myself another year. To tell you who's 32 and grown, I can tell you this. If you want to have kids, y'all timeline's already off, because Milton literally said, I don't know if y'all remember from a couple of first episodes. I know it's a boring season, but keep up with me. I remember he said, I don't want to have kids for probably another decade. And that makes that checks with his timeline. Because think about it, it takes 8 years to get your doctorate, right? So he wants to be a doctor of engineering. Okay. Very a lot of money, but not a lot of face time. Okay. Not a lot of face time. So, I know Lydia's personality. I don't see her being that person that's going to wait up and, be able to wait through the program. And mind you, this PhD program, that's if he passes each year. So this timeline can go from 8, maybe 12 years, maybe 10 years. He's very intelligent, probably finished beforehand. But the main asterisk is the fact that, are you willing to support him through this degree? Because you don't know. Are you willing to support him through this degree? Because you don't know how long this degree is going to take, right? You don't know how long this degree is going to take. And then on top of that, you got to also put in the aspect that his schedule right now is already trash. So are you willing to be a single married mom? Because if his schedule is from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m., basically they're giving him the grunt work because he's younger. They're giving him the grunt work because he's younger. I was like, are you willing to step into that role? And I don't see her doing it. She literally blew up when Milton was talking about how you could have handled the you could have handled a douche better than that. That whole situation about he's saying that someone was watching his stories or blah. He literally said that. I was like, what happens when you have an argument with him, but you won't even be able to reconcile? Like, if I'm thinking about how he would do his schedule, I feel like Milton would be the type of person that from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m., I feel like he would probably crash to about 1 o'clock and then probably like chill, play games, whatever, and then be ready for your shift at 10 p.m. So when you're coming home from work with all that, he's hype. Okay, so you guys are going to naturally be at opposite ends of things, and you don't know how long they're going to give him this grunt work for, especially for the fact that he's not married yet. Unfortunately, in the workplace, like if you're not married, if you don't have no kids, like they kind of be like, okay, well, we can work you whatever hour we want to work because you don't have nobody to go home to. Yes, we do. Sleep is my mistress. She's been loyal to me since birth. But yeah, definitely for sure. Like a lot of the questions were very reasonable, and she was just answering them very much Miss America. Like, thank you for that question. I too would like. Just like it wasn't really giving what it's supposed to give. Okay. But honestly, like watching them eat the salad was taking me out. I really couldn't. But overall, I hope they both say no. I feel like Lydia, like I said, like I don't see Lydia waiting 8 years for him to finish his degree, because then she'll be 40 by then. Remember, it takes 2 years to film these shows, so she's 32 now. 8 years and then 40 years old, you're gonna be hype and you're gonna be like, oh, like he's gonna be like, okay, now I'm 32 and I have everything settled. Okay, Lydia, let's have our baby. She's gonna be 40 and tired. Like, I don't see her having the energy or the same like level of, she's like to the point where the baby might end up being a burden to her because they waited so long to have a kid. So I would definitely say like I just don't see their timelines meshing. Like, he's at the beginning of his career and she's settled. It's not gonna work because these kids, unfortunately, you can't take them with you to work, which I wish you could, but you can't take them with you to work. Someone has to be home with them. And that person who has to be home with them is the person who's settled. And Lydia is settled, but Milton's not ready to have a kid. When he's going to be ready to have a kid, you're going to be ready to go. Okay. And of course, people have known to be, my mom had me at 40. and I'm not the youngest one, so you can still have healthy births later on. But I'm just saying, like, timeline wise, I just don't see it working. Let's talk about the editing. Okay. Some of the extended scenes were giving filled word count. So, perfect example. That dog ran across the street. That's a simple word, right? If I'm trying to make the word count. That canine Doberman from Germany out of, the 1900s ran quickly and viscerally across the road before he attacked the other dog across the street, and he made it across the grass. You see how I patted it in? That's the same way they did. This word count was crazy. Like some of these scenes, like I literally fell asleep, glasses on. You know how hard it is to fall asleep with your glasses on and you're laying like this? Like I literally had the glasses like to fall asleep with glasses on, you gotta understand you have to be boring. Like some of these scenes were just so boring. They were drawn out. They didn't make any sense. I'm sorry, but how you go from like with Stacey and Izzy, I was like, how you go from, I was so confused about that. I was like, how you go from y'all were dancing by the plane, which I think is very dangerous, by the way. Y'all had a dinner like where the airplane was at or whatever. And then you go to him, he's crying in the closet. Like he's crying in the closet like he's Harry Potter. Like, I'm in my bedroom under the stairs. Like, I don't know what was going on. Like, I'm not making fun of the fact that he was expressing emotion, so don't be trying to say toxic femininity. No, I'm mad at the editing because there was no build to it. It was just random. It was just like, oh, well, that's sweet. I like her green silk pants. Those are cute. And then, and you feel like he never enough. I was like, oh my God, Ismael, what happened? Like Zapata, like what? Like I don't know what happened, but like he was just under. I was like, we went from this to that. Like there was no like crescendo into it. It's like we're just kind of like thrown into. I was like, what is even happening right now? Like there was just a lot going on that I was confusion about. Honestly, if I could be frank with you, they could have saved it. They could have saved those last 2 episodes. Like they didn't do anything to move the plot along. Like it was nice, see them have the marriage theory, because a lot of people don't understand. Like whenever you get married, like there's different steps. Because like in the movies, we always just see the person just married, but a lot of people don't know this. But like when someone's standing up at the wedding, they're just like, does anybody here say no to this wedding? Most people get married in court weeks before. Like you can't do anything. I always loved you. Too late. They already got married 2 weeks ago. Like they've been married since September. Like I don't know, what are you doing? Like now you look stupid, and now we gotta dance awkwardly with you at the Cupid shuffle on the timeline on the dance floor. Dance outside. So you didn't really support me? You didn't? Man, that's wild. Damn. Are you enjoying yourself? Like what? Like it's gonna be awkward later on at the reception when we're doing the Cupid shuffle. Like I don't know what's going on. But yeah, the editing was just comical. Like that was like part of the comedy. Like I'm literally like my makeup's running because I'm literally in tears from just laughing about everything. So let's go on to the reaction of social media. First of all, FBI needs to retire, because the real FBI, Facebook investigates, they are the people who are getting the story. When I tell you, they found out that Stacey's not only the owner of one building, the other one she's not even really on the she's not on the will or something. Like she's not on the will, she's not on the deed to it, because they looked it up because it's public records. And I was like, if it's one thing FBI, I was like, you can hide, but you can't hide from the FBI. Facebook investigates. Like I'm really scared for y'all that y'all have time to go into deep. But I mean, you get what I'm trying to say? Like y'all can do that too. Now some people were looking for the marriage certificates about who got married and who didn't get married. So that's actually public record, so you can go look at the spoiler from there. But honestly, like to wrap up, like I feel like this has been one of the worst seasons. Like a lot of people have said it's cheapened the brand, and they are correct. Like I feel like the first season, and of course Britt and Tiff, we didn't forget about you, or Blissa on Low Man Zach, but Short King. But I just really feel like it's just really cheapened it. And like as a scientist, psychologists are scientists. Like it was interesting the first one because everybody was blinded, everybody was under wraps. Now it's just kind of like you can tell people are doing it to push their businesses. Like I think going forward, I feel like more I want to say couples, but I feel like more people who are on the show should not be able to tell what type of job they do. It should be like a range of what their money is, how much money they make. But I don't think they should be able to tell like what they shouldn't be allowed to promote their business. So if they're just like, oh, I'm a hairstylist, you know, like myself, like it's like, oh, I'm a hairstylist, da da da. Like, I feel like you shouldn't be able to share your Instagram information. Like, try to make it some type of fairness, because it's giving very much like, okay, let me just pretend to like this person. Like, you're ruining the experiment. But definitely catch me again on next Monday, and I will have the final results of Is Love Blind. It is, but it's also stupid.